Hello and welcome everyone. Today we will say one of the lesson from CBSE class 8 English, and the name of lesson is Glimpses of the Past. In this lesson we will study some of the occasions and events from Indian history where Indians got the freedoms from Britishers. In this lesson we have some speech bubbles which will help us to know the events and the occasions of Indian history. So, in Indian era, that is 1757 to 1857, during this time of 1 century, the Indians started their struggle, and time has come at 1857 revolt. So, let's see something about Indian history in this lesson. So, the first part of this lesson is about the martyrs, where you will see in this picture one of the singer from India who is quite known as the Indian Kokila. So, her name is Lata Mangeshkar, and one function held at Delhi where she sung a melodious song, patriotic song appealing to the hearts of Indian people. What she says, "Oh my countrymen, let your eyes be filled with the tears as you recall the sacrifices of Indian martyrs." It means in Hindi, "O मेरे देश के वासी, जरा याद करो कुर्बानी, जरा आँखों में भर लो पानी." And remember the India's freedom martyrs. So, in this picture, Lata Mangeshkar is singing in the presence of the great dignitaries like Indira Gandhi, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, and Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Okay, now we'll see the second part of this lesson is the company's conquest from 1757 to 1849. See here, the company is none but the East India Company. This company is of Britishers. Britishers reached in India and they occupied the eastern part of India. That is why it is called as a East India Company, and it has got the conquest victory during the time of 1757 to 1849. Let's see. With the superior weapons, the Britishers East India Company was extending its power in 18th century in India. Britishers were armed with the guns and advanced tools with which they easily defeated the Indians, and that's why gradually the East India Company conquered the maximum part of India. Here in this picture you can see the provinces which are in a yellow color are of Indians occupied and ruled by Indian rulers, whereas Britishers started to rule from eastern side of India and they gradually covered all the Indian country. Indian princes, Indian rulers were short-sighted. They did not see of long vision. That upstarts Raja Ba called the English merchants, "They will help me to defeat him." And there was enmity between the Indian rulers, Indian kings, and they took a support of Britishers East India Company, Tainati Fauj, and when they took the help of these Britishers, they were able to defeat our Indians only, and thereby little by little all the countrymen, all the rulers of India got defeated by the Britishers, and it was ruled by the company all over the India. So people had no peace due to such a constant fights, and they have to lose their kingdom. So the rivalry helped the East India Company, and it could easily subdue, control on Indian princes and their provinces one by one. As far seeing ruler like a brave Tipu Sultan from Mysore fought bravely with the Britishers till he died on the battlefield fighting. But very few rulers were there in India. They fought very much bravely for the sake of country and the freedom. And some of the rulers were thinking very narrowly, thank God there is a peace in the country now, no more wars and no looting by the thugs. In those days, there were many robberies were existing, and that is why the people were not at peace. But when the Britishers came, even the thugs, that were robbers, stopped their business, and that was some sort of peace for the people. So it is a God who sent us in the form of Britishers. People were thinking Britishers as a God, and our destiny is linked with them, and our future will be linked with the Britishers. How did the Indians react to this conquest? Differently. The white man has killed and dethroned our kings. White man, one by one, defeated everyone and captured their kingdoms and their thrones. Some kings were got good, but after all, they were also victim of the Britishers only. Now we have become slaves of foreigners, but some people were agreeing. Now they are going to become the slaves for Britishers. Now third part will be seen, the British were ruling India. It is 1765 to 1836. Religious leaders preached ideas like untouchability and child marriage. In India, there were some bad customs were existing like untouchability, child marriage, and with which they did not progress. So anyone who crosses the seas loses the religion. That was the custom existing, and that's why no one was going abroad. And all the misery, all the bad luck in the world is due to the woman. That was a misunderstanding, and it was preached by some of the religious people. Then the truth was that the Indian had lost the self-respect, and the Britishers scorned them. Britishers were known that the truth is that the Indians don't have the respect for each other, and that's why Britishers were hating them. They don't keeping Indians close to them. They were just making use of them. The natives are unworthy of trust, incapable of honesty, and Britishers knew no one is honest in India. True, your honor, but I am honest. But everybody was trying to convince that they are honest. But Britishers have a different plan. They did not want to believe on anyone. Being merchants, the Britishers wanted quick profits. Their heavy taxes forced farmers to abandon their field. But Britishers have a different intention to loot, to levy the big taxes. But taxes was in such a huge amount, the farmers have to lose their entire produce, entire field for the Britishers. But you men are taking all my crops. Farmers were asking Britishers, you are taking entire crop as taxes, but that's not a good. So you are still in arrears. If you don't pay, next week I will send you to a jail. Forcefully, Britishers implemented the tax system, and they looted the farmers of India. Still, the Britishers invented other methods which gave them more profits, and step by step they invented different policies in terms of being merchants, and they wanted to get more profit. So the goods manufactured in England should not have any import duty when brought into India. So that's why the Britishers' goods were qualitative, and even they were cheap because they did not have the import duty, and that's why maximum goods articles were sold in India for a good profit. A good idea, East India companies laws began to cripple, weaken the Indian industries and Indian economy. Inevitably, the famine followed, and unavoidably, the famine means the shortage of food, and people started to struggle to get the food. Starvation was there, followed between 1822 and 1836. 15 lakh Indians died of starvations, shortage of food. The Britishers' policies ruined the expert artisans. There were many artists having some small industries lost their existence due to the Britishers' policies and their business. So, what happened further? As such, the many people had there to go against this Britishers' policy. So, what happened further? The Britishers were ruling to India like anything, and then further what happened? Some of the great leaders like Rajaram Mohan Roy, who worked during the time of 1772 to 1833 of his time. Rajaram Mohan Roy, a learned man from Bengal, understood that what was wrong with the country. And let us not despise, hate ourselves. He knew our ancient culture is great and we are capable of greater achievements. We must first reform our society, and superstitions have been ruining us, destroying us. He told his wife Uma, cows are of different colors, but the color of their milk is the same. Different teachers have different opinions, but the essence, the core of every religion is the same. And he attracted by science and modern knowledge. Knowledge should be practical and scientific. So, Rajaram Mohan Roy was a modernist. He wanted to eradicate the bad customs, and he wanted to tell that all religions are the same. And he crossed the sea. He went in abroad and went into England and see what made the Britishers powerful. There he had told them what exactly. We accept you as a rulers, but you must accept as a subjects. But you must remember the responsibility as a ruler owes to the subject. Then Rajaram Mohan Roy spoke to the Britishers that we accept you as a rulers, but you have to take care of the people, subjects of India. He started newspaper, but suspicious Britishers, the doubtful Britishers, stopped these newspapers in 1823. Then Britishers started to oppress, harass. These oppressions held between 1765 to 1835. But the Britishers continued to oppress, harass the Indians. In 1888, they had passed regulations. Third, under it, an Indian could be jailed without trial in court. All the time, British officers in India drew a big salaries and also made the fortunes in private business. In 1829, Britain was exporting British goods worth enough crore rupees to India. Then Governor General Benting reported back to home in India. The Britishers prospered on the company's loot while Indian industries began to die. The bones of cotton weavers are bleaching the plains of India. The palm industry, cotton industries were totally ruined during the time of British rule. Then dissatisfaction, unhappiness was existing all over India between 1835 to 1856. Education in India was in Persian and Sanskrit. In 1835, an Englishman named Macaulay suggested a change. We should teach the native through the English language, and I agree. So, Macaulay started some education in India and English education. So English education produced the clerk to whom the Britishers gave petty jobs, small jobs under them. Incidentally, it also produced a new generation of intellectuals during this time. We must educate our brothers and try to improve their material conditions. For what we have convey our grievance to the British parliaments and we can complain the British rule to the England people. In 1856, the Britishers had conquered the whole India. You can see in the map. The yellow states and the British area is totally covered with the pink color. So they care little about the needs of Indians. They little bother about the Indians. Our kings have become puppets, the dolls in the hand of Britishers, and we have lost our old jobs and lands. They were converting our brothers. You only talk, you do something to drive them out. Then everybody started to think that Britishers should be sent away from India. Then such a spark was developed in the Indian mind, and what happened during the time of 1855 to 1857, the taxes continued to ruin the peasants and farmers. In Bengal, the Santals, who had lost their lands under the new land rules, became desperate, hopeless, very much angry. In 1885, they rose in a rebellion and massacred the Europeans and their supports alike. Dissatisfaction was brewing, boiling in the East India's Company's army too. The white soldiers gave huge pay, mansion to the live-in servants. British soldiers were given the huge, whereas the Indians who were serving in a British army were paid less, and that was the discontent, unhappiness. While we get pittance, very short amount and low promotions, the angry asked us to cross the sea, which is against our religions. Even Britishers don't like. Britishers impose them to do all the works, but the Indians was of such a mind that they don't want to cross the sea, and they made Indian to cross, and it became some unrest, discontent in the mind of Indian soldiers who were in the British army, and they decided to abolish the old customs there. And we must drive out this Anglo-Indian, this Britishers. Sipahi, that is soldiers of Mangal Pandey, attacked this British soldiers, British general, and executed him, died him, killed him. Thousands of other Sipahi revolted with him, and they were stripped with the uniforms. And what happened? So such a revolt was occurred, and here Mangal Pandey has done the major work there. So humiliation did not tolerated by these people. The few Englishmen had scared and understand the Indian customs, and they denied to interfere Indians. Oh, proud Brahmin soldiers, do you know that the grease on the bullet you have to bite and made the fat of cows and pigs? And some Brahmin soldiers also were not good happiness, because the bullet covering was of the skin of the cows and pigs. So these people, Brahmin people, don't like the cow's skin covered on the bullet, whereas Muslims also hated the pig and skin they have to bite from their teeth. What? The white man was deceived to us, and they thought that they are deceived by the white people. White people are none but the Britishers. Soon the chapatis were sent from village to tell the people that the emperors would want their services. Yes, all the village men were ready, and similarly the lotus flowers circulated among the Indian soldiers and dared to be foreigners. The masses gave all the helps and they started to patriot. Then the biggest revolt occurred in 1857. Then there was a violent outbreak at Meerut, and Sipahi marched to Delhi. Long live our Emperor Bahadur Shah. And then the rebellion spread wider. Many landlords had lost their lands because of the British policies, and they were sore, they were painful about that. And the white man's rule must end. Yes, we will help you. And many people joined together. And now the many rulers started to fight for freedom. And this is how 1857 revolt. Many former rulers like a Begum Hazrat Mahal of Lucknow were bitter. The white man has taken away my kingdom. That Begum of Hazrat Mahal from Lucknow became angry and decided to fight. Popular leaders like Maulavi Ahmedullah of Faizabad told the people, "Rise, brothers, rise!" And the Angrez is ruining our land. So they joined the upsurge. This sparked rebellion against the foreigners. And the people rose everywhere in Bareilly, Kanpur and Allahabad. Azimullah Khan told Tatya Tope, "We should have the Peshwa Nana Sahib as our leaders in this war of independence." 80 years old Kanwar Singh of Bihar received a bullet in his wrist. And Mother Ganga, this is my last offering to you. Such a brave man addressed. And this is patriots pronounced upon the Britishers and fought, pitched, battled all over the North India. And this is how the Britishers initially fought and sacrificed their lives and set a stone to achieve the freedom for India. So this was the our freedom moments presented by S.D. Sawan here. So students, I hope you understood this test. With this, I conclude. I hope you understood. Thank you.